Okay, so we're going to create a 3" by 7" rectangle. So take your ruler and put it onto your paper about maybe 1.5 or 2 inches above the bottom. We have our paper long ways going sideways right now. And let's draw a line from the 0 point all the way to the 7. Then we're going to turn. And you know how I can tell this line is going to turn out at a 90-degree angle? Look, see how it's smaller here and it's wider there? That means that my line's not going to work out very well. If I want to make a better rectangle, I want to really look at this. Is this ruler parallel with, does it look like an area is getting smaller or bigger? Because that means there's going to be a problem. So now that it looks nice and parallel, I'm going to hold it down. Wait, I'm going to move this to the 0 point, sorry. And straighten that back up again because it didn't get parallel. And then I'm going to go from the 0 point to the 3. So I'm up here at the 3. Can make myself a little dot. Then I'm going to come over to here. Line that back up. And let's see, does this look parallel from the top? That's pretty good. Go back over to the 0 all the way to the 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then I'm going to come over and complete my rectangle just by putting those two sides together. Okay. Now what we're going to do is take our ruler and put it up against the left side of this rectangle and put dots at the 1 inch mark and the 2 inch mark. So here's the 1 inch mark, there's the 2 inch mark. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to take my ruler and line the 0 up with the corner of your rectangle, a dot at the 1 inch mark, 2 inch mark. Now it's nice and easy for me to create lines that go directly across, and I know that's a perfect 1 inch from there to there. As perfect as you can be. It's maybe not super perfect, but then I come up to these leftover measurement dots and I'm going to connect them as well. Pause the video until you've done this. Now we are going to label this as plank number 1. Take your pencil and label this plank number 1, plank number 2, plank number 3. At the bottom of plank number 1, I'm going to put my ruler with the 0 at the corner, and I'm going to put a dot at the 3 inch mark and the 6 inch mark. Then I'm going to come up here to plank number 3. At the bottom of plank number 3, I'm going to put a dot at the 3 inch mark and the 6 inch mark. I can make those a little bit more obvious for the video. Pause the video until you've done this. Then I'm going to draw a line, but I'm going to skip plank number 2. So I'll connect these dots, but I'll lift up my hand on plank number 2. Watch. I draw my line straight up, I lift up my pencil, I completely skip plank number 2, and I continue my straight line up there. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to draw my line straight up from that dot, completely skip plank number 2, and continue the line right there on plank number 3. Pause the video until you've done this. Well, now we have to add some divisions in this long plank number 2, so we're actually going to put our ruler at the bottom of plank number 2 and go to 1 inch plus a half. It's the line directly in between the 1 and the 2. I'll put a dot there. Then I'll come over to the line that's directly in between the 4 and the 5, the 4.5. Then I will come and draw a line straight up there. Come and draw a line straight up here. Pause the video until you have drawn all of your lines going straight up and down. Now what we're going to do is take what we learned yesterday and apply it in a smaller scale. Instead of those two big large planks, these are a bunch of planks in the floor, pretending like this is a section of a floor. So go ahead and put down a knot. It's a smaller knot because this is a smaller plank. And we're going to put 5 dots equally away from each other, and then 5 dots where they slowly start getting farther and farther away. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, I could get away with a 6th one. And now we're going to do our wavy ovals to connect the dots. You might want to sharpen your pencil just to make sure that it looks more realistic. Still coming up and doing the wavy stuff. Go ahead and fill up all of your planks of wood, and you can have a knot over here and have it going out this way like this, except reversed. You can have planks of wood with 2 knots. Go ahead and fill up all of your planks of wood, and this is to represent a plank of wood that's going off. Like if this was a photograph, this is where the photograph cut off. Like that is still a long plank of wood that's cut out of a photo. So once you have added texture to all of your planks of wood, you need to get a tissue, or for virtual students, if you don't have tissue, toilet paper, just saying, or a Q-tip, and we're gonna just smudge to create a little bit of a value on here. I have not taught smudging just yet. I do not recommend smudging with your fingers. I don't think that that's a good habit. Professional artists really don't do that. They have a smudging tool. Because virtual students don't technically have a smudging tool, and because face-to-face students can't share the smudging tool, we're going to use a Kleenex because we can throw this away at the end of class. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just doing some small circles, and we're going to just smudge some of this graphite of the pencil onto the wooded areas. I'm doing circles. You might need to turn, if the tissue's like this, maybe it's not smudging as well anymore, to the fresh area of the tissue and continue doing small circles. Now it looks like it's a bit hazy, but we're going to use that haze to our advantage to then add some shadows and highlights to the planks of wood. Now we're going to sharpen our drawing pencil and really darken up these vertical lines. Don't make them all perfectly the same amount of darkness, like maybe it'll even be really dark right here and then it'll fade a little bit lighter over here. So do all your vertical lines. Pause the video until you do so. Now we are going to add little streaks of darkness into our horizontal lines. I'm just coming in random spurts and just going back over it. It's looking really good. I'm then going to use the side of my not colored pencils, my drawing pencil, and just like with this here, I'm going to make the right side a little bit more shaded until it fades into that smudge value that's on there. So we already have the level 1 smudge value, so I'm just coming over and I'm starting at the right side. Look how tilted my drawing pencil is. It's very tilted. And I'm doing perfectly up and down sweeps. It's okay if I go out of the lines, I can erase that a little bit later. It's close together on the right side and it slowly starts fading farther and farther apart. The closer I get to the left side, there's less and less. There's more shadow on the right of it, and it slowly gets less and less over here. So it's level 3 darkness here, 2 darkness here, level 1 darkness there. Now I'm going to take my eraser, or your pink eraser would be better, but many of you don't have that. And these vertical lines, there's a left side of the line, there's a right side of the line. I'm not going to erase my line, but directly right next to it, I'm going to add a highlight as closest as I can to that line without erasing the line, right on the right side of it only. The right side only. Then I'm going to come over here to this vertical line. On the right side of it, I'm going to take my eraser and without erasing the line, but as close to the line as I can get, I'm going to add a highlight there as well. This vertical line, same thing. On the right side of it, highlight. 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 But y'all are getting tired of me saying the word highlight. Highlight. Now it really looks like the floor is coming up. I could take this a step further, and I can make an L, like this highlight going down is the top part of the L. I could highlight this down here. So if that's the top part of an L, I could highlight that right there. And if we pretend like that's the top part of an L, I can go ahead and put that L in there. Trying not to erase my original separation lines. Make an L, pretending like the highlights are the letter L. This is what you take a picture of virtual students and upload to me in the project folder in Schoology. It's a wonderful wooden texture that you could put if you drew a bedroom or drew a room, or some people's walls have wooden panels like this. This is an example of how to make it look three-dimensional and realistic.